Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Stephanie Gratton, and I am an attorney in the Employment and Labor Department at Coley Jessen. My area of specialty is employment-based immigration matters, and today is the fourth of a series of presentations on the H-1B lottery process. In the past few weeks, Ryan Sevchek and I have presented on when a position is an H-1B caliber position, as well as what credentials a foreign national beneficiary must possess in order to qualify. In this session, I'm going to present an overview of the H-1B registration process itself. As many of you may be aware, last year was the first year that the government introduced the H-1B registration component to the lottery process. And it is intended to streamline the application process and make it easier on everyone involved. Prior to the implementation of the registration process, complete H-1B application packages would be submitted to USCIS during the first 5 business days of April in order to be considered in the lottery. As a result, every matter had to be prepared and completed in full in order to be considered in the lottery. Now, however, the registration process requires just basic information about the company and foreign national beneficiary to be submitted, along with a $10 registration fee. The government then completes the lottery based on the information provided, notifies everyone of the results, and only those who were selected in the lottery then go on to file a complete H-1B petition with USCIS. This saves companies, attorneys, and the government alike time and resources in working on these matters because, again, only those individuals selected in the lottery go on to submit the full application. So when does the registration period take place? Last year, the registration period was from March 1st to March 20th. This year, USCIS just announced that the registration process will take place from Tuesday, March 9th at noon Eastern Time to Thursday, March 25th at noon Eastern Time. That is a 17-day period within which all H-1B cap subject petitions must be filed in order to be considered in the H-1B lottery. USCIS intends to then notify selected registrants within the following week by March 31st. Upon being notified that you were selected in the lottery, there's a 90-day period during which your H-1B cap subject petition must be filed with USCIS, starting on April 1st. With respect to the nature of the lottery itself, you may have heard that in the last few weeks of the Trump presidency, a final rule was published that sought to replace the random selection process historically used for the lottery with one taking into account a position's wage rate. USCIS has now announced that the final rule will be delayed until year-end, December 31st, 2021. This means that the current system involving random selection will again be used for this year's H-1B lottery. After receiving all of the registration submissions, USCIS will first randomly select 65,000 registrations for purposes of exhausting the bachelor's cap. USCIS will then separate out those registrations that qualify for the master's cap and select an additional 20,000 registrations for purposes of exhausting the master's cap. Last but not least, please note that to the extent that not everyone selected in the lottery goes on to file an H-1B cap subject petition with USCIS, the government will then select additional registrants who may do so in order to exhaust all 85,000 visa spots. And that was the case last year. So the takeaway is that even if you're not initially selected, it is still possible that you will be selected later on. Thank you again for listening, and please check back next week for another informative session on the H-1B lottery season.